Learn about this team in Europe?
That's a good question. We got a competitive group. It wasn't always pretty, but we got a really competitive group. Played against a couple of really good teams. The last team we played made me feel kind of old. There were a couple kids that I played against when I was playing professionally that could still really go. I don't think I can move like that anymore, but yeah, we played against some good competition. Mixed around with some lineups, started different people. Great chemistry over there on and off the floor, and just a super competitive group.
What did you see out of Amaya Reynolds, her first time playing live basketball?
Yeah, I think she'd probably tell you the first game it was, trying to get the rust off a little bit, and played in almost 2 years. Solid though. And then second game, first game, man, it was like we threw them right to the wolves because they had a girl that picked her up full court, turned her every single chance she could. Second game we started her, thought she struggled a little bit out of the gate. Third game I thought she looked a little bit more comfortable in what she was doing. And she's finding her way in practice, just really getting her legs back and trying to, and now being able to practice every day. She didn't practice every day over the summer, just trying to making sure we're taking care of her and not, blowing her up right from the start here in September.
Is there a carryover effect from your trip into what you guys have done up to this point and then going into your season?
It's actually I feel like we're a little bit further along than where we normally would be because we actually practiced this summer. And so practice now, like first official day, isn't like foreign concept to them. It's actually like they know what to expect. They know what we're about to hit on. So the idea is hopefully that carries over. Hopefully we're further along and ready to go a little bit more in November. Obviously you don't want to start and peak in November, but hopefully we can just start a little bit higher than what we have in the past few years here.
What about this group will allow you to play faster, which is something that you wanted to do since you got here?
Yeah, we're just longer and more athletic, across the board. I think we can play a really big lineup and pound things in, almost similar to the way the guys did when they had, who was it? Trevion and what was the other guy? Who was that other guy?
Barnes or Zach?
Yeah, exactly. But to be able to play them at the same time, or even when Trey and Zach are on the floor at the same time. Or we could go smaller and be faster, but just a little bit longer and quicker at almost every spot out there.
What are some of the main objectives you guys want to accomplish during this preseason stretch?
Just keep growing, getting better. One thing we talk about, we've got to be a really good rebounding team. I don't know that we were necessarily a really good rebounding team in Europe. We've got to get better at that. And because we want to play fast, making sure we don't have any silly, sloppy turnovers. We're going to have to. We told them, the other day, and it'll be the message all year. I don't know that we're always going to be sexy. It's always going to be sexy or pretty out there, but if we can just play hungry and play dirty and tough, tough-minded basketball, we'll give ourselves a chance. The one thing we talk about too is, I think, we want people to almost, struggle with the fact that we're on their schedule, right? We want to put a team out there that's really hard to beat. Does it translate to wins? Hopefully. But if we can be hard to beat, I think we're going to give ourselves a chance. We don't want anybody to look at the roster and be like, or our their schedule. Oh, we got to play Purdue. All right. And I feel like that's kind of what we walked into here. So the idea is kind of flip that switch and make teams. When I shake the other coach's hand at the end of the game, I want them to say, man, I hate playing y'all. And hopefully that means we've got more points than they do.
I guess part of that is the defensive ball pressure, especially picking up point guard, something that Rashawn alluded to. Did you get to see a glimpse of that? Where do you feel like where this team is at with?
I think both Rashawn and Dez's ability to pick up the ball and change, put the point guard's eyes down so we can get back and set up our defense in the half court. And then so hopefully that helps. We haven't had really a rim protector. Cass a few years ago would stand in there and take a charge, so it was kind of like our rim protector, but Lana's big, KP's big and physical, so it allows you to press up on the ball a little bit more and make things a little bit more difficult. And I think we're quicker. We can fly around a little bit on the perimeter, but at the same time, we got to be disciplined in doing that kind of stuff.
Can Des and Rashonda be a pretty good defensive combination for you?
I would not want to bring the ball off the floor against either one of those two. Yeah.
But I mean, is that, can that be part of what you do defensively or do at some points this season with that lineup?
Yeah, we try to, I think in the past we've done some zone presses, try to get a little bit more creative with some run and jumps, maybe some shaka smart, 94 feet of hell kind of thing, where we're just flying around and hurrying other teams up. But, you have those two on the floor, they can do that. And then, like I said, at other spots, we're just naturally quicker.
Once everybody came together, who's kind of been the competitive tone setter who's kind of taken the leadership role to kind of drive what you're trying to do?
Yeah, it's really been a collective effort. I would say all of our kids are just have a competitive drive about them. And really our 4 transfers kind of bring that naturally. I think they feel like they've got something to prove, that they actually do belong here and that they can compete at this level. So that's carried over, and they've earned everybody's respect right away, and it helps because they can actually play basketball pretty well.
What do you continue to learn about those 4?
How good they are, just how patient and calm they are in certain situations. There's no rush or hurry about what they're doing. They play fast, but they can play with great pace. Just a group that's committed to leading our young team. Whether it's on the bench or on the floor, to making sure we find a way to win games.
What do you want to see from Sophie for her to take that next step in her development?
That's a good question. You guys talked to Sophie yet?
Yeah.
Yep.
What was it? Did you ask her that question?
Kind
I would like to
In a way.
Yeah.
I think I've said this last year, in just terms of pure basketball ability, Sophie's probably our best basketball player. The one thing that we talk a lot about is being able to change her pace. She wants to play fast all the time, and just slowing down and making reads and kind of letting the game come to her. It's really good for her to watch film with Ella, because Ella plays at that pace. Maybe because Ella can't play fast, I don't know, but no, I'm kidding. Ella has a great change of pace about who she is, and I think watching film with both of them gives us an opportunity, like, okay, this is what we're talking about, Soph, and she's just been hungry to learn and grow. She's got a big opportunity.
What would it mean for this team to have her from the very beginning now?
Oh gosh, night and day. Last year I think we weren't able to get anything in the summer, barely anything in the fall, and just kind of threw her right in there. And it was a roller coaster. So this can just kind of be a steady climb and not have the dips that we had last year. And then I think when I think her leash is a little bit longer. She's earned some trust and some respect from the coaches and the teammates, how she's handled practices and workouts and taking care of her body. And then when you're that good, your leash gets a little bit longer and you're able to experiment with a few things that kind of maybe piss your coach off or something. I don't know.
Just an update on Jordy and where she's at today.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Timeline.
I didn't sit in on that meeting this morning. I know she's on the Ultra G, and it's kind of the last thing you do before you get on the court. Didn't have any setbacks doing the Ultra G. Didn't have any pain or anything. So hopefully, we can get her on the court sooner rather than later. I think initially we thought maybe we wouldn't have her at all this year, but I think things are trending in the right direction.
Can you give us a little preview of your freshmen and how they've looked so far?
Well, I'll start with Jordy. Jordy's been great. She's a sponge on the sideline. She's constantly asking Abby, our GA, who played the point for me, why does she want this, or just explaining things to her. And she's a sponge in that regard. Lana, all of 6'4", and just a big body box out there. Rim running is, I would say, it's elite, next level elite. At that size, to be able to run the way she does, rim to rim is pretty special. And then KP's athleticism on the perimeter is going to be able to allow us to play her at the 4 and switch some things, but then also bully people in the post. But great kids. They eager to learn, hungry to be led. and there's not a day that they're probably not two of our hardest workers out there.
How is NIL factoring into how you're putting teams together right now, putting the program together? And do you have a blanket policy on that? Is it a case by case?
It's an ever-changing world that we live in right now. Obviously, I think things are going to look to change, in the next year, maybe, hopefully, I don't know. I think we're still waiting for answers on all that stuff, but it's a world that you have to live in, because if you don't, you get beat. And I think who is head coach at Clemson football? Help me out, Dabo.
Yeah.
So he said something too, like, and it kind of resonated with me. Like, if you're only looking for NIL, then this isn't the place for you. If culture, team, like togetherness, family, and then NIL is a piece of it, then this is the place for you. But if NIL is the only thing you're looking for, then that's okay, because we'll try to win with the other way.
You mentioned kind of that uncertainty. Is it affecting recruiting at all right now to not have any certainty on what's coming out there rules-wise?
I don't think it's affecting it. I think I think we're in a pretty good spot with our 25s right now, and the direction we're moving, with 26s and 27s. Luckily for us, the Purdue way is not to recruit a lot of kids who are just NIL driven. So is it a topic of conversation? Absolutely. Is it the only part? No, it's just a piece of it, so it hasn't really bothered or impacted us in a negative light at all. Cool.